Welcome to the Blind Betty podcast, where we tell life inside the mess. And so today we've got Lucas, my buddy from 20 years of snowboarding history. And I'm going to quickly pass the mic to you to introduce yourself and give a little bit about your history and where you are today.
Yeah, so my name's Lucas Berard. I was born in Burlington, Vermont. I grew up in St. Albans. Currently, I'm at the snowboard shop that we run up here in Stowe called Neon Wave. I'm the director of brand experience for the company. Um, I started snowboarding when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I was born '86, so 30 plus years. Grew up riding Smuggler's Notch, and we had a little rope tow hill in St. Albans called Hardak. That was about 2 blocks from the house I grew up in, so that's kind of where I cut my teeth. Standing up on a sled and then eventually getting like a black snow and then an original sin and then getting a Burton. It was kind of a progression of equipment just as much as skill set, you know?
Absolutely, especially with a rope tow in hand. I,
Yeah,
I mean, I had the carrot ride when I was at Bolton Valley after school special or Cochrane's, and grabbing
heck
a
yeah,
hold of it and
totally.
pulled up
Dude,
the hill.
oh my goodness. There was a sporting goods store in St. Albans that used to sell these leather sheaths that you would put over your mittens just so you wouldn't burn through them. Like,
Totally.
it was essential.
Right? What are the gloves that you get at the hardware store? All the ski
Oh yeah,
patrollers
the
wear 'em. The
Kinkos.
Kinkos. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Those are
yeah,
like essential when you're doing the rope tow for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, man, I got
Um,
I caught the bug super heavy, man. Like me and my friend when we were about 10 or 11, we went to like a town board meeting and proposed that they let us run the little snack shack. So our moms would go to Costco's and get like muffins and bags of chips, and we would just hustle them to our friends with like hot chocolate and
that's
kind of
amazing.
rotate who's snowboarding and who's working the shack.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I can't believe the town let us do it. It was awesome.
That's so cool. And, to see it still thriving, Hardak is still going loud. It's so strong up
Totally.
there and they've just gotten bigger and bigger. It's like, it's so cool to see that small mountain just expand the way it has. And
Totally.
yeah, and same with the industry. And that we're definitely going to touch on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I brought you on because, of your love and history. And I mean, you and I go back 20 years back at No School Snowboard Shop, where I myself, I wouldn't say cut my teeth because like we had just said, I was at Bolton Valley. I did the after school program. My history comes along with my uncle working at Burton Snowboards, my grandmother buying me my first board. I could never remember what size skis I was getting. I was like, this is too complicated. And snowboarding just fell into my hands and I was like, I love this. I'm never going back. And um, immediately I taught myself how to ride personally. And it was awesome because by my junior year in high school, Smuggler's Notch had just started their first snowboard club. And, I was the first girl to join. It was like, maybe 10 people in the club, but I knew like if I got into that, I would find this community because really my siblings, my parents, they didn't snowboard at all. So it was just me and I needed to find my way in my community at the mountain. Um, and that was just a huge turning point, right? So want to talk about a little bit about you and I were chatting about rides and how we got to the mountain. And you had this incredible story about, finding your way to the hill and getting your way up there. Would you like
Yeah.
hit on that? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, kind of by any means necessary. That was kind of my parents' whole shtick. Like in St. Albans, we had this thing called the Rotary Bus that
Okay.
you could get. It was a bus ride to the mountain, and you get a lift ticket for 25 bucks. And my dad used to chaperone, so he would go for free, and we would park in the village, and we would literally just head straight to Sterling. And I kind of learned how to really ride kind of off the notch road. Like we would just hike
Yeah.
around and find like what looked like a fun couple turns and hike up into it, and kind of instantly got like graduated from the hard act kind of sledding hill to like adventure. The sense of adventure that Smuggler's Notch offered me as a child was crazy.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we would carpool with friends and family, just like any means necessary. Like my sister started snowboarding a little later, but my brother skied, so we were just man. I remember one time I really wanted to go, like I'd been looking forward to it, and my it was like pissing rain and like awful conditions. And my dad was like, "Call Smugs and see what they have to say." And they were like, "It's not a good day up here. Like it's all icy, glazed over." And I just remember crying on the phone, like, "Please just let us tell my
Just
dad it's good. Like I want to
yeah.
go." Um,
I'll write anything.
yeah, totally. But yeah, that was kind of the like that was my first like experience getting to the mountain was because of that Rotary bus program that St. Albans had.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that kind of access is what I'm really trying to raise money for with my nonprofit, and that accessibility, to get folks who can't drive, because that's where I am at this point in my life, is like just continuing to try to get to the mountain, right? Because
yeah,
it's not that I've forgotten how to ride. I've been snowboarding for over 30 years now. It's like, no, 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 just get me to the mountain.
yeah,
Let me
yeah,
do the rest. But
yeah,
that's a big part of the mission, of course, with the Blind Betty podcast. And why I'm doing this is to raise awareness on what it means for adaptive sports, and why these communities are so important, and
totally.
like you just said, a Rotary bus and some friends, it changed your life and your trajectory, which is amazing,
Yeah,
um yeah, and snowboarding can be such a solo sport, right? And one of the mottos is no friends on powder days. i
totally.
I find it to kind of be a little bit of BS, but you know I you build such big communities
Oh my
around
goodness.
snowboarding, right?
Yeah, the sense of community is crazy, man. Like even down to like where you're gonna park. You know where your friends are gonna park. You know what time they're gonna be there. Like there's a rhythm to it that I always kind of I miss a lot, especially this time of year, because I'm like a creature of habit. So it's like, what am I gonna do at 6 a.m. now instead of gearing up? Because you know the same crew is gonna be at the same place, the same time, regardless. So like that sense of community is almost as much fun as the sport itself. The camaraderie between friends when it's on, or even if it's shitty conditions, and
Right.
you
Yeah.
just that sense of like having a crew or having a friend, like it alternates too, right? Like sometimes I'm riding with this crew, sometimes this crew, whatever. Sometimes someone wants to go on a mission, but yeah, that sense of adventure and that sense of like having like-minded people in the same place for the same reason is like what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's hit it back, go back, what, 15, 20 years.
Yep.
And I'm going to hit up the no school days, because that's when you and I worked together.
Yep.
And I mean, we talk about how community has been part of it from day one, right? Like those groups might have changed over the years, but it's still the sense that some people come, some people go, right?
Totally.
But like, how have you seen this industry change
Mm.
from those like 20 years ago, right? From working in the snowboard shop, the communities that were held then, we were a little bit younger,
Yeah.
to to where it is today. And I'm literally talking like, I mean, the wall of VHS, Lucas. Do
Totally.
you remember like us
Totally.
like popping in videos? Like we knew every part in a snowboard film by its soundtrack.
I was just gonna say that by the song, when the songs
By the
play,
song,
you can
right?
picture the parts. Yeah, yeah,
And we
totally.
like turn around. That's one of my favorite games to play in a group of people. I'm like, name the video. Whose
Yeah,
part is it?
totally.
And like,
Um,
yeah, talk about that a little bit and like reminisce with me, because like
yeah. I
those
mean,
days were so amazing.
totally. It is funny you say like people come and people go, but there are still like I run into Patio or Holcomb up in the Notch, and it's just like we hadn't skipped a beat. You know what I mean? Like there's
Totally.
still that core sense of, especially in this zone, like the Smuggler's Notch Stowe zone is a really special place. But um, yeah, I mean, what really got me hooked, man, my mom's good friend gave me a stack of like old Trans World and Snowboarder magazines when I was like 4,
Hmm.
and siphoning through those and the buyer's guides and how many brands were involved in the sport. It was like the heyday, right? And then
Right, right.
um growing up in it, I felt like it started to become almost nostalgic before it was out of date. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
So like you said, like the walls of VHSs and stuff. I still have friends who have coveted like Project Hackinson or TB6 or whatever. Like
Oh my
they're
gosh, yeah.
prized possessions, you know.
Totally.
Um, and same with magazines, man. Like we have so many old magazines here at the shop that are so fun to sift through. Um,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of brands have either consolidated or have disappeared, right? So like it's becoming a more finite industry. Like there's less players in the field, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Um, but
Because
I
I was
mean,
just gonna say on walls of VHS, but there was also the backyard builder, the
totally,
garage builder, the basement builder, and they come out and they're like, "Dude, I just hacked off the back end of my board. Check this out. I made a no board. Oh, I made my own split board."
totally.
Right? To then
Yeah,
going into this like global economy and just like mass producing these decks.
totally. Yeah, I mean, my first split board was a Never Summer, like an old Never Summer with a polar bear on it, chopped in half.
Yeah.
And I think actually the guys at Black Diamond, I forget his name, but he put about 100 coats of lacquer on the sidewall that I we had ripped, and I
Pete
mean,
did that, right?
who?
Pete,
Yeah, yeah,
Peter
yeah,
Gulak. Yeah,
totally.
yeah, yeah. Because he had a whole kit to like split them, and then he got really obsessed with. Call out, shout out to Peter.
Yeah,
He he mows lawns and stuff, and does maintenance and building. The guy's really great at what he does. But
hell
back
yeah,
in that day, man, he was so into splitting his own deck. So that's really funny.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's like from a retail standpoint too, like because I kind of left the industry for a while. I moved out west,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I moved back, the the technology and the product that is being put out nowadays is like so ridiculous. You
Oh
can
yeah.
you can literally find anything you want in a snowboard, whether it's the geometry, the functionality, like between the phase and the step on and all the different. I don't know. We're at a point now where I think the sport. I mean, you see it live, like
Yeah.
25 feet out of the pipe. You couldn't do that with like an old brushy cruiser, or like it,
Absolutely.
it's crazy. Some of the amount of spring that you can put in a board nowadays.
Let's talk about the Mega Blossom for a minute.
Oh my
Like
goodness,
building the core of that for Zeb in order for him to like launch himself off that tail without it just shattering and
crazy,
cracking, right?
right?
It's a full swallowtail. And that thing, you couldn't just put a normal core in it and just call it, oh, we're good. It's got fiberglass.
Snap City.
You know, Knuckle
Yeah,
Huck was really good example of that, right? So
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really incredible the tolerances and the like what kids and adults are able to do on the product nowadays. I think it's exponentially like we're in this state of the curve. You know what I mean?
100%. I think kids boards need to start stepping it up. I
Yeah.
think with all the technology, this is by, single parent, watching my daughter from infancy shred.
Yeah.
She's been the number one person. Like, for one, I will say, I am blessed. My kid, she loves snowboarding. That is in her heart and soul, right? Like, yes, it was part of mine too, but she's taken it on all on her own
Yeah.
as like being
What
super passionate.
she started when she was like one.
Even small, yeah, it's 6
Yeah.
months old, right? I
Yeah.
had her sliding back and forth. She's in a Johnny jump up with a little cardboard snowboard on her feet, you
Hell
know?
yeah.
And then
Hell
we
yeah.
had the full, like, this little Grom, like, harness pack where she would slide on it. And
Yeah.
this was a fun story because when she was just learning how to walk, right? And I'd take her splitboarding and I would pull her in an inner tube and she would sit in the inner tube and I'd skin up with her hooked onto me. And then one day she gets out of the inner tube. She's like, Ma, why doesn't my snowboard turn into skis? And I'm like,
Uh,
because you're two. You're 2 years
she
old.
knew what she wanted though.
She did. And you know what? Because I was in the prototype facility, I built the first kids split board
Hell yeah.
ever, right? And like yeah, I'm not taking her full deep into the woods with snow over her head, but it was the progression of, right? And so by 4 years old, after prototyping with Spark R&D and making I rebuilt all the bindings to be a Y strap too to fit her tiny little
Oh,
boot
sick. Yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
only made them as a women's extra small as the smallest. And I'm like, I gotta fit a kid's 10,
Yeah.
right, in this thing, and so I put a Y strap. I took off the high back. I put a no back on
Yep.
it because she didn't
Yep.
need any, leverage on the backside. I took out a lot of the hardware too because the board needed to be lightweight.
Yeah.
And so and she started skinning, and she loved it. And just like
Yeah.
whenever I'd give her the option, like, do you want to go to the mountain and ride the lift or do you want to go backcountry? And she's like, can we bring our dogs? I'm like, yep. She's like, let's go backcountry.
Yeah.
And the name of the game was packing snacks, right?
Yep.
Get
Yep.
to the next hill, get to the top
Totally.
of that, and she'd get up there
Totally.
and then we'd sit down and we'd have snack time and make it fun, and like she's such an old soul because that progressed into, Mom, the deep snow, I'm having such a hard time. I'm like, oh, we need to make you a powder board.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's when I created the minnow based off of the
Yeah.
fish. We had
Totally.
3D technology. It's the first
Yep.
kids board to ever have a full track, just like one channel, just like Jake Burton, his original. And it was full scoop technology. And that thing, it was a mini fish that, she loved mermaids. I painted it all up like a mermaid. And
I
that,
think you showed me that one with the glitter.
yeah, with the
Yeah.
glitter. Yep.
That board is
Yep.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that took, me listening to my kiddo and
Yeah.
having the technology, right? Being able and getting in trouble. Honestly,
Yeah.
because I'm coloring outside the lines. That one build, I was specifically told, we don't build boards like this. I'm like,
Like there's not a market for it, but
he's like, we don't build boards like this because usually we start with the middle, the waist, and we work our way out. And here I am
yeah.
going, no, well, I want a swallowtail with 3D tech here, and I want a spoon nose on the front here, and I have the retail marketing vision to know what it needs to look like on the end product.
Sure.
And then I reverse engineer everything to build it light
Yep.
enough, right, for a 60-pound kid.
And you know what I love about that is you built it's out of necessity. It wasn't out of uh like you weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. You just there was a void in your equipment needs, right? And you
Completely.
totally.
Yeah. Because we get kids in that were like, oh, I'm competing, right? I need a board that's really fast. We understand the difference between like a chopper, right?
Yeah.
With the learn to ride tech versus a full camber deck,
Sure.
right? For a little more aggressive turning.
Sure.
But there's so much more in between because this generation, it has endless possibilities, right? And that's where it's
Yeah.
like, no, on a powder day, I want my kid to be shredding with me. So what's going to allow her to float
Yeah.
and keep up, right? And not
Totally.
sink and be tired after a half a run.
Totally.
And same thing with split boarding. Dude, on those days when the mountain's not open yet and my kid's awake and like, let's go,
Frothing. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and more, man, I run into younger and younger people up in the notch and in zones that when I was their age, I wasn't there, but like I think it has to do with social media and people seeing spots online and oh my God, look how good that looks. Like, um, I think all of that is good for the sport though. Like,
yeah,
get them hooked young, get the sense of adventure that you get on a mountain like this or anywhere where there's terrain to explore is like better than daycare. You can learn a lot of life lessons out there. You know what I mean?
absolutely. And when there's such a draw to just being stuck on a tablet all day,
Oh my goodness.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like to get these guys outside and stoked to be on
Totally.
equipment. I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge. And when the equipment is easy for these guys to ride to progressing, you
Yeah.
know, that makes it so much more enjoyable.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
we're not just talking like another black snowboard, I'm like, no, 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 like these kids, they're vibrant. They have lights flashing in their eyes all the time. And,
Totally.
I had even started trying to push 3M makes this incredible laminate that you could literally program any graphic right onto the top of a snowboard. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we could start doing that.
Yeah.
We could start laying this film down and literally making these boards just come to life with graphics. And
Man, you could crush up
uh,
precious stones and put them in a top sheet if you wanted to.
who does that? Yeah, that's
No, I
the
think,
only word, right? Yeah.
I mean, as a whole, I feel like this, like the sport is at a place now where it's, I don't think we have to worry about it going away. You know, like we were just joking the other day how funny it would be if we go down to Mad River Glen and just poach up in the parking lot and like bring a petition and see if they would allow snowboarders and just see what kind of reactions we get from some of the skiers.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, working retail and seeing the joy it brings. Like, I remember the first board I got, real board. It was like a huge deal, and to be able to do that all day is like,
Oh yeah.
it's pretty sick.
I miss that. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. When I was in the retail store at no school and it was like just fixing equipment and keeping people on the mountain or selling in that first stick or
totally.
bindings and like, but not only just selling equipment, but it was like the vibe of coworkers, like you get, like we would just
Oh my god,
feed off each other.
you're
We
in the
like
club, like
completely, and
you're
you're
as
like,
soon as
come
yeah,
on in.
yeah, totally. I was
You're
just
like,
telling my coworker this morning, like I miss those like head scratching MacGyver situations of fixing a
yeah.
buckle or fixing a binding or
Or
um
when Boa first came out, I'd
oh
sit there
dude.
with a mat and I'd be recoiling boas to make them work again.
JG calls me Dr. Boa. Like anytime someone comes in the front door, he's like, Dr. Boa.
That's awesome. JG and I would go off all the time because like I liked a wide waist width on my board. He's like, you need to be riding something smaller. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, I
Yeah,
grew up on riding like 160s with like a 25,
totally.
waist width, right? And like that's just I got long legs. I have a 24-inch stance, like
Are you still
that's how
riding
I
24-inch stance?
yeah,
Yeah. Wild. Yeah, it's
yeah.
funny you mentioned no backs. JG actually gave me a couple sets of those no backs that I was riding on some boards this year.
No kidding.
Amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Amazing.
You're
Yeah.
surfing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I'll tell you, like, I have no binding set up here just to kick around in the backyard. And I'm like, there is nothing more fun than just pulling that out and be like
Yeah.
jumping on it and just surfing, It's like it's so cool that
It is.
freedom to just go.
Totally.
Um, absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
say hello to JG for me.
I will for sure. We're probably gonna play golf this week when the weather turns around.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and we talked about a little bit of, how this industry has changed and you said that you had stepped away for a little bit and then came back. Like a lot of the crux of this podcast is blind spots because I talk a lot, yes, I've, my vision loss journey, but everybody has blind spots, right? You can have a blind spot in work, relationships, friendships, in your own health. And my question to you is in this whole journey in this industry, what are some of those blind spots you've had to overcome that like you're shaking your head where you might have been like, I'm out, And
Yeah.
then the next question to go with that is like, what kept you here? Because my goodness, there are so many people that aren't in this industry anymore that have walked away, but like you've been resilient and stuck with it. And obviously, passion is a big part of it. But
Huge.
yeah, hit us up on some blind spots that you may have seen
Yeah,
now.
so I remember like we worked together at no school. I worked at Smugs in almost every department.
Hmm.
Um, I traveled a bunch snowboarding, saw a bunch of cool places. And right before I moved out west, my oldest brother passed away.
Mm.
Flipped my whole world upside down. So I was ready. I needed a change. I needed to leave the state, and my parents supported it. And then about 3 or 4 years after that, I lost my mom, and then a year after that, I lost my dad. So
Holy shit.
yeah, that whole like 3, 4 year stint after that all happened was a huge blind spot. I didn't know where I was going. I had very little sense of direction. Um, thank God I had good friends that kind of helped me right the ship. And really, what are you passionate about? And it was music and snowboarding were always my two biggest passions. Um, And it's funny because when I moved back from Oregon, my little sister just had her first son, and I knew I wanted to be part of that experience of being an uncle. And
Hmm.
then one thing led to another, and I ended up meeting the right people, being at the right place at the right time, and that's kind of how I got myself back into the industry, running this store here. I lived in New York and started working for Neon Wave um, about 6 years ago, and
Okay.
always with the concept of opening the store in Vermont. And then about 3 years ago, we were able to do that, and haven't really looked back since. Like I was saying earlier, like the being a creature of habit, like it's a really easy routine to fall into of wake up, go snowboarding, go to work, go home,
Hmm.
rinse and repeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know how you can tell if you're talking to someone on the phone if they're smiling or not?
Hmm.
I feel like it radiates off the staff here because we all ride almost every day. So when people come in, it's how was the mountain this morning? Did you go? Did you go? Like it's just it's like a newsletter in real time every day, like a mountain
Yeah.
report, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of other blind spots that maybe wouldn't like, I don't know. It could have been anything, right? It's
It can be anything. Yeah,
totally like
absolutely.
it's
Right.
funny how things work out though. Like maybe, I don't know, if I got a decent job in Oregon, I would have never moved back east and I would have never, you know, it's like I always knew that snowboarding wasn't over though. Like I rode hood quite a bit when I lived in Oregon, but it wasn't to the obsession factor that it is back nowadays. Kind of like when we were at no school, we rode almost every day.
Every day. Yeah.
Danny encouraged us to build parks in the front yard, so like
Right.
it wasn't an option. It was just what you did in the winter, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear that. It's like I don't know if there's too many blind spots earlier on. I was kind of like snowboarding is that feel good vibe, right? And if you're looking in the world of spiritual psychology, right, you're on the right path if you're in that vibration of joy and happiness, right?
totally.
And those things that may be uncomfortable just gives you feedback, right, to recorrect and be
Yeah,
back on get you back on your path, right?
yeah.
And I think it's been interesting because at my time at Craig's, I was getting a lot of feedback,
Mm,
right? Um, and I'll be completely vulnerable and honest. It was a headphones on, head down, and it was do the work because unfortunately, being the first woman to build there, so much discrimination.
mm,
I was working with a team that was one of the oldest teams at Burton,
mm,
meaning their roots were so deep in the build, right? These guys were there from the beginning with Jake building boards. And so they kind of call it the old man's club, right? Like very set in their ways. So to have a new perspective, like we were just saying about building, you build things backwards. Yeah, my brain worked way differently.
sure.
I had new
It's really,
concepts.
it's a shame that they weren't, or there wasn't more, like, oh, that's a different perspective. Let's learn from that. And
Right.
you know what I mean? That must
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
super frustrating.
Yeah. And so, like, or when you would show up at the shop, like, great example is you coming to like warranty one or something and like checking in, right? And saying, hey, and I'd have friends that would do that. And my gosh, that joy would come back, right? And be like,
Totally.
oh, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And just, you know, put that stamp on like, no, 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 no. You are doing what you're meant to do. Put your headphones on. Don't listen to the chatter, right? And just keep
Sure.
doing what you're good at because that was something in my life. I was always prove yourself by doing,
Yeah.
not talking, right? It was like do the work.
Yeah.
And what I build is going to be better than anything I could ever talk about,
Sure.
right? And so um and that proved itself out because like I mean, I remember when you got the cheetah, right? And you're like, friggin' first thing you do is take the whole top sheet off.
Totally.
And they're like, it's not about the graphics. It's like it's about this ride, and my goodness, that board was so much fun to ride. I
Yeah.
have one as
I,
well,
s- I
and
still got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we talk about those blind spots. It was interesting of um I miss the building, right?
Mm.
But what I would reminisce about is that community. I missed my community. I did not have that
Yeah.
working in that shop. It was headphones on and do the work. I'd go and punch the time card,
Yeah.
do my work, and head home and then be a parent. It was like that was my wash, rinse, repeat for 13 years
Totally.
after no school, right? And so it almost felt like a step away from snowboarding in a way because I
Mm.
would get asked from friends, be like, "Oh, what's in this line this year?" And I'm working on boards that were 4 years, 3 to 4 years about to come out, right? And so
Yeah.
I wouldn't know necessarily what was. I'm like, that was like 3 years ago. I don't know what's on the line right now. I started to feel more disconnected. It was
Mm.
exciting to prototype
Sure.
and build and do collaborations like the Celtics board. So I'm going to pitch that as well into this because that's my giveaway. And I did a little story this morning about it, which that was the first board to ever have a clear top sheet.
Hell yeah.
And we were told we were going to get the parquet court in-house. And the guys drove down to Boston and came back with a pallet of court
Sick.
wood. And they were like, "Oh, you want to stand on it?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, we could put it in the sidewall." And they looked at me cross-eyed. I had my manager throw his hand up. He's like, "I don't understand you." And he's like, "Just do it." Right? He like tosses sidewall at me. I'm like, "Okay." And then he went in and grabbed this board off the wall. He's like, "Do you mean like this?" I'm like, "Well, kind of, you know." And so I worked that process out. And then I got all excited because my skills, I'm like, "Oh, I can build parquet. I
Yeah.
can build it." Right? And so I grabbed all this scrap wood and I built the parquet floor out of all this scrap lumber in my core room and I showed it to them.
And they didn't like it, right? Didn't you say,
They pulled me into the office
dude, I remember you telling me this story.
and they reprimanded me. And they were like, "How dare you?" And I'm like scratching my head like, "Wait, aren't we a prototype facility?"
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, "Cut it all up.
That's
Cut it up.
wild.
Get rid of it." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I cut it all up. I left a piece of it on my desk. And then AJ, who happened to be our graphics guy, comes in for a meeting. And luckily, a coworker was like, "Let me show you something," and walked to my desk to grab it and put it down on the table in front of our creative director. He's like, "Wait, who made this?"
Yeah.
you know, oh,
Dude,
the girl in the shop, right?
I think that's what people like most about that board, though. Like, from what I've heard about collectors and stuff, that's like their favorite part.
Right? You're
Yeah.
standing on the court. And then
Yeah.
they were just like, "Well, structurally, you have to ride it. It has." I'm like, "That's easy.
Right?
I build cores for a living." like,
Yeah.
let me put this into the board with structural strength. Let's
So
work together.
did you build it like the same spec as a regular core, but with the parquet ingredients?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
used a process core, like a process 57,
Yep.
right? However, I built the structural integrity has hardwood going all the way under that parquet, right? And we did an inlay. So the
Oh, got
parquet doesn't go all the way through the board,
gotcha.
right? So it's just this perfect inlay so you can ride it and
So
it will hold up, you know?
so so it's an inlaid like a veneer on the.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I built blocks of parquet and then I would cut them at 5 millimeters and then I would sand them down. They end up coming around 3 millimeters thick,
Yeah, yeah.
laid into these
Sick.
decks. And it was, it's just time. Everything is
Sure.
meticulous, right? Um, and hand cut. I mean, I was working on a table saw to make all these tiny little
Oh
blocks,
my goodness.
miniature size. I'm like talking like, they're making like a miniature dollhouse, right? Tiny
Yeah,
little parquet blocks, and then piecing them together so there's no gaps.
yeah.
And not only that, is like also we only had a certain amount of court to work with.
Material.
And
So yeah.
yeah, so it
Was there
had
like
to be,
hundred-ish made or less?
there
50?
was, yeah, just about, I think a total of around 100
Yeah.
because there was 77, right? That's
Yep.
Jake's thing.
Yeah.
And they're all numbered and ordered. And this just happens, the one I'm giving away is my personal one. And kind of breaks my heart, but it's going to a better cause. It's
Oh
something,
my goodness. I couldn't
right?
imagine
Greater,
a better cause.
greater than myself. And I'm like, you know what? We are, we're going to help adaptive sports and try to build this community because going back to the beginning of this conversation, it's like the accessibility to get rides to the mountain, to build community, to keep everybody active and healthy,
Hmm.
is really just passion project. Because like you just said, right? Like you're kind of like, okay, we're golfing next year, like, or next week. And I'm like, yeah, it's mountain bike season.
Yeah.
It's
I
hiking
mean,
season. Like
yeah.
I want to go skateboarding. I'm ready. Even Roxy's asking, like, when can we go to the park? It's like, yeah, that all
Yeah.
requires rides, right? And
Totally.
so getting there, and it's why I work out so much and go to the gym because people drive past the gym all the time that I can pick up a ride, get dropped off for a couple hours,
Heck
and then
yeah.
get a ride back. But
Heck
like
yeah.
something like the mountain, unless I have someone riding with me or willing to stay up there for a few hours, right?
Yeah.
It's a little different world. And same thing with mountain biking or hiking. And it's like, because like, okay, my hiking pace is going to be, it is faster than most, right? And so it's like, okay, finding someone who's like at that same level to, be willing to go and get to the top of the mountain in a couple hours.
Totally. You want to hear a funny
Um,
story? I got a friend who I ride with really often up here, and he's a really fast rider, really, really good. So he works here now, actually, but before he worked here last season, he would bring his board in for tune, and I used to use like the opposite wax of the weather outside just to slow his ass down. Just like it'd be frigid cold. I put warm weather wax on it, and it
oh
didn't
my
work.
God,
He'd still smoke me down the
this is so
Man.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was supposed to get a guide dog this spring, but they had to wait for the next litter like to come through and go through their training. So I'm uh projected I should be going in August here to go get my guide dog to, again, more accessibility, right? And
Yeah.
because we're in Vermont, man, and I use a cane a lot of the time. Canes don't work on hiking trails. They suck
Yeah.
in the grass. They, like
Yeah. Yeah.
muddy roads and stuff. I'm
Oh, I
like,
can only
no, no.
imagine.
We're in
Yeah.
Vermont. I need a dog. Are you
Hell
kidding?
yeah. Hell yeah.
um, there's my adventure buddy, and I say I go paddle boarding. I'm gonna start calling it doggy paddle boarding because you're gonna
Nice.
sit on my deck, and go around the lake with me. But
Yeah.
um, the
Yeah.
other reason is they told me I had to push it back because they couldn't find a dog that could match my cant because
Huh.
I was too fast.
Like your pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we need a faster dog. And I'm like, how about longer legs? I'm like, I could take a Great Dane.
Yeah. Like a
And if I
whippet
get
or
tired,
a
I could ride him like a horse.
yeah.
Like,
um yeah, I mean, just to touch on that blind spot thing too, I think
yeah.
like injury and like personal health was a big like I reached a point in my life where I got scared to get hurt, you know? Like when I was a
Mm,
kid, nothing mattered. Like yeah, I bounce off, you know?
yeah.
But like as I grew up, I definitely like last year I don't think I went through the park once. The snow was
Yep.
good, like we just rode powder all season. And yeah, we found features in the woods to drop off and have fun with, but like I feel like I'm way more focused now on like quality over quantity, right? So like
Yeah.
if we hike up to the chin or if we go out crazy into the notch and we get one good run that took 2 hour loop, I'd so much more do that than like rip 5 park laps, you know?
Isn't that? Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally feel you. I think becoming a mother certainly did that for me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, can't hurt myself. I'm got another
Totally.
kid, someone to look
Yeah.
after.
I think it was
But
like the livelihood thing for me. Just like
yeah.
I couldn't be off my feet, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. Absolutely. And then recovery, right?
Totally.
I notice that when I go to the gym, I'm like, oh, it takes me a little longer. And so
Sure.
I think that speaks volumes to like what you said, that repetitiveness, wake up at 6, because it's like hydration, eating right,
Totally.
stretching, exercise,
Fruit,
right?
fruit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Stretching is
totally.
a big one too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I remember I busted my knee up pretty good in like 2012, 2013, and it had been hurting for like a season or two. I just neglected it. And then
Mhm.
eventually I found out whatever, I had like a partial tear of my meniscus. I had this trip planned to go to Chile for 3 months. They went and did surgery, and I was on my board in 2 weeks because of it was
Wow.
orthoscopic, but they cinched whatever, they shaved it away. But I remember being so nervous about like not being able to go on the trip if I was in recovery still, you know?
Totally.
All the recoup, whatever, 2 weeks, I was like heel to haunches riding again because I took it serious and I was like, when am I ever going to get this opportunity again? Similar thing happened last or 2 years ago. Arc'teryx offered me a spot at their backcountry academy at Whistler.
Hmm.
So they flew me out there, and of course, like a week before that trip, I landed like really flat, and I hurt my foot. I thought I broke my foot because my it kind of went like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I went to the hospital and did all the stuff, and all good, but it was really alarming. I was like, dude, did I just blow this whole trip
Yeah.
because of one stupid jump? Like, so I take that stuff a lot more seriously now, just like the longevity of the season, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. So
I never
reflecting
thought
on,
that way.
yeah, reflecting on that, if we were to look at 20 years ago again, right, and how we've progressed to today, what is something that has majorly changed in the industry? Or
Hmm.
maybe it's, like that you would probably, like kids today don't recognize about this sport, this industry that we worked so long in, because we are talking about the VHS. We were talking about how we used to get to the mountain, social media now just blasting it, technology.
Yeah.
What is that thing that has changed, and what is something that has still run true all these years that hasn't died?
Yeah. I think one thing that's changed a lot, at least the kids who I grew up riding with, it was always who's going to go the biggest off this jump, who's going to board slide the longest, this, whatever. Like, I think more and more kids nowadays, maybe it's because of natural selection or just
Mm.
backcountry as a whole. I think people are listening to Craig Kelly nowadays more so than when he was riding. You know what I mean?
Isn't that so interesting? Yeah,
Um,
that essence, right?
totally. That the free ride mentality and just like searching for the perfect turn or the perfect line. I think intrigues a lot more people nowadays than it did when it was like in its frontier stage. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. I could see both sides of that too. Is since is more talk, right, of that backcountry and doing more of that extreme, like you said, natural selection. Um, and I refer back to, oh gosh, that must have almost been 10, 15 years ago, the swath cut at J Peak,
Oh yeah,
right? Right. And the backcountry trimming, and then like going to
yeah,
clinics about cutting lines and literally like needing a variety of trees in your backcountry, right, to sustain the
sure.
forest. Um and in your opinion, do you see more people out trying to trim lines, trying to build big backcountry kickers, or do you think it's um still humble enough that kids respect, this next generation is still respecting the mountain?
Yeah,
um
I mean, it's funny because I kind of have two opinions. I feel like
mhm.
Smugs is a very different environment than
Oh,
Stowe,
for sure.
and from what I've heard, back in the day, people were a lot more cavalier about trimming some of the zones that we ride nowadays. When I talk to like older people that I ride with, they're like,
Mhm.
"Man, you should have seen it 20 years ago. It was wide open here." You know, so like, I
Right.
think I think people are respecting the like leave no trace mentality a little bit more.
Mhm.
There are definitely still people who are up there with saws from time to time, clearing like their favorite line or whatever. But I don't think that there's quite as much of like a cowboy effort in the summer to go up there and do the trail maintenance, if you will. You know, like
Yeah.
I've just heard stories of back in the day. It was like that was part of the program. Like you're busy all summer waiting for that first snow, and I don't think that's quite as, or maybe there's not as many diehards anymore. You know, like
Right. Well, that's
I
where I'm
don't know.
asking because, like, I certainly had built my fair share of huts.
I
you
didn't
know?
cut one single tree this year. I promise.
And it's like, yeah, we go up, we would hike and we'd bring our saw with us. And we're like, this is a good line, and
Yeah,
but we were
that was like a rite of
respectful of it.
passage. That was like a rite of
Totally.
passage though back then. And I
Yeah.
think I don't think kids are getting soft. I think that there's enough terrain where you can kind of find your way without having to do that per se because
Hmm.
our forefathers have done it for us kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
That's
definitely
so
have heard that
cute.
the maintenance has gone like there used to be people just peppering lines, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
almost to a fault, but I think there's still a group of people that they know where they want to ride and they make that possible, but
Hmm.
it's kind of a balance act, right? Like if everyone was up there doing it, it would be a bad scene.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still warms my heart when like my kiddo comes home and she's like, "Oh my God, like the riverbed was so sick today." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
yes,
Um,
like,
so that's kind of my experience at Stowe, but my experience at Smugs is very much like
mm,
don't ask, don't tell, you know, like if you don't know where you're going, don't go.
don't go. Yep.
Yeah. And if you get shown a spot, don't go unless you're with the guy who showed you. You know, it's like it can get blown out so quickly and then all of a sudden your secret spot is like on TikTok or whatever, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
GPS tracking,
Oh my
you
goodness.
know.
Dude, some clown put out this map with like GPS locations of like how to get to this spot. I'm not even gonna name names, but just like
Yeah.
and he'd post videos of it and it pissed a lot of people off, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, we know the terrain extremely well, and you can cliff yourself out
Oh,
so easily,
yeah.
you know.
Dude,
I I
one of my favorite follows on Instagram is the Stowe Mountain Rescue.
for
Like
sure.
some of the things that they get themselves into because people are just if you got this is a good story. These
Go
people were
for it.
hiking, not knowing where they're at, right? And they called Stowe Mountain Rescue. They're like, "Hey, we're at Taft's Lounge," like thinking they're at Taft's Lodge, and
Yeah.
the rescue was like, "Okay, cool, stay there. We'll be there soon. Don't move." So the rescue gets to Taft's Lodge, and they call him. They're like, "Hey, we're here. Like, did you guys leave?" And they're like, "No, we can hear you, but like we don't see you." And they were huddled up in the outhouse and they were like
What?
waiting for the rescue to come.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They
Holy
didn't know.
cow.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I thought it was a really funny story.
So I'll give you a little Bridget history with Taft Lodge right there. This is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Way back in high school, I did work during the summer where I hiked with my backpack up with a group of people, and we had to hike out the old Taft Lodge for it to be rebuilt because it was rotting. And
Dang.
so they come up with chainsaws. We'd put, 60 pounds or so in our backpacks. We hiked down to Stowe because the trail is right there, about a quarter mile, right? And so we bring it out to the trail at Stowe, drop the wood because then they could, pick it up on the trail and hike back up. And we piece by piece we brought out the
Dang.
whole Taft Lodge. And
Were you working with VYCC?
no, this was part of an Upward Bound program,
Oh,
and
cool.
we were volunteering, and we did
Yeah.
that for a week of hiking in it all out, and so the new
Wild.
build was always like, well, it's the lodge that's up there now, or um, but yeah, that's a wild trip because I was actually the one who helped
That's a
hike
lot of
back up
work.
out of there. Yeah, it was
That's
a
a
lot of
lot of
hiking.
work.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. But yeah, that place has a piece of my heart for sure. I did a lot of backpacking in that
Hell
area
yeah.
and sleeping in that. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, really, really good spot.
Totally.
Um, cool. Well,
Yeah, it's always
Lucas,
fun to get there in
this
the winter and like dig yourself in, you know, because it's
for
like
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Hell
I haven't done stow too much. I just, a couple times when Burton would have their ride days and stuff, but
yeah.
I've been a Smuggies girl, and then of course in Oregon I was in Mount Bachelor. Oh yeah.
Smuggler's
That's
Notch.
amazing. I'm like sitting here with a filing cabinet of stickers, like ready to
Oh my God, your
pull out
sticker
all the old
collection was
stuff.
always through the roof, dude.
I was looking at it with my daughter the other day because she didn't want her to put new stickers on her water bottle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this one's like 40 years old. Oh my gosh, this one. I'm like, maybe that's my next raffle is sticker packs. 'Cause I'm
Dude, that's
like,
so funny.
what am I gonna
That dude,
do?
you probably got some gems in there.
I have some gems for sure. Yeah, my original like Smuggler's Notch Snowboard Club one that was hand drawn. Yeah,
Dude,
so good.
your
But
coffin is gonna be decked out.
right, that's exactly what I was thinking. Though I'm like, do I leave these? I mean, the only value they have is me personally, and then
Oh
to
my
other
God.
snowboarders, But like,
You know what
yeah,
would be
pretty.
cool? It'd be cool if you photographed it and made like a coffee table book.
Oh, that would be rad. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not just Burton; it's
I
every
bet.
company,
Yeah, totally.
everyone. Because I was connected at no school with everybody. It
Totally.
was like riding Never Summer and Rome and Ride and K2 and Roxy and all of it. It was
Everybody.
just like, it was like some of the most fun heydays. Do you have like an epic, as we're closing up, like your punk rock story of something that you did in the industry?
Oh boy. Um, I got a couple things, a couple stories that I don't really want to tell you now, but we can catch up. Man, my wildest, I think just disappearing to South America for 3 months was pretty, especially the time of my life. It was a pretty wild experience. And the finding a place to stay in an A-frame on couch surfing and then getting a job and learning Spanish at a bar and delivering trail maps during the day to get a lift ticket with a one-way ticket. Like we had no plan, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that was pretty rock star though, because we pulled it off and like made it home in one piece and rode some of the sickest Andes mountains of like to date. I can't like imagine better. We caught a good winter. We met the right people. We were actually making money, so it was like financially
Yeah.
we kind of
Yeah.
broke even almost. But just the pull up my bootstraps and go for it. Fuck, dude. I remember when we came back, I had 2 board bags and we went from Brazil. We went from Chile to Argentina and then Argentina to Brazil to fly out. And we flew from Brazil to Washington. And then my buddy who I was traveling with stayed in Washington because that's where her brother lived. I took our board bags to New York, right? So I got dropped off at New York and I had to catch the mega bus back to Vermont. And it's like 95 degrees in Manhattan, and I'm trudging like 100 pounds of gear, like 35 blocks to get to the mega bus. And some of the looks, like I looked like an alien, you know? I had goggle
Totally.
tan and I was like pale white everywhere else. Dying though. I was so hot and uncomfortable because it was like a climate shift like in a day, you know?
Totally. Yep.
But
Yep.
that was probably like, yeah, I'll never forget that trip.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like when I was talking about like who's coming on, I'm like, Lucas, he's my wild card.
Oh my
Like,
goodness. Dude,
I
there's a
never
story
know
I
what
want to tell
story.
you, but I can't. I
uh,
can't.
I just can't do it.
I
I
can't
mean,
do
my
it.
most wild, it was definitely Ride Shakedown and going up to Montreal and just like,
Oh man.
oh my gosh,
I
that was
mean,
such a
what
trip.
one other thing I'm pretty proud of is like my high school had a like an alpine ski team, but they didn't have anything snowboard. So me and my friend convinced our science teacher to be like our coach, and we started the snowboard club at BFA, and it's still going on today. It's like one of their most poppin' clubs. And
So
we
great
convinced our science teacher to bring us to Bromont every Wednesday. We got to leave school early to go night ride at Bromont to train
to
for like the
train.
Green Mountain Series or whatever. Like we were competing at Bolton and Stowe. But that's something too that like there's I think they have like over 100 kids in the club nowadays, you know?
Yeah, that is
It's
so cool.
yeah,
I love it. I
wild.
love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're wrapping up here as far as time goes, but any other okay, favorite graphic?
That's a tough. I mean, the balance is up there. I also really, really like the brushy trout.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely classics. I'm right
Yeah,
there with the cruiser stripes, so you see that
yeah.
on all my stuff. Um,
My first
awesome.
original Sin graphic was sick too. It was one of those
Mm,
Campbell graphics.
yeah. Hey, you remember our buddy Nate Otis we worked with? He
Yep.
was their he was OSIN's graphic guy for a while.
Huh. My
Mm-hmm.
buddy
So
Chris Mask, who runs the hardware store here in Stowe, used to work for Original Sin back in the day too. And when I showed him a photo of my first one, he was like, "Oh, I remember that board."
that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, all
S
time I'd have to give it to
yeah,
the Perillo balance probably or the trout.
yeah, hands down.
Yeah. What about
Favorite
you?
movie? My
Oof.
favorite well, my favorite graphic, definitely Brushy Stripes, hands down. Like I said,
Yeah.
I kinda, um
Yeah. Favorite
every
movie, man?
favorite movie.
God. Either Subject Hackinson or North of Heaven.
Ooh, okay.
Remember North of
Awesome.
Heaven? I think it was like a TB.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
just one where like the soundtrack brings me back.
Yeah.
I like Subject Hackinson though because it was kind of like candid. Like remember the Danish twisted pretzel recipe at the end of the movie?
Oh my
Like,
gosh, or talk about how tiny Shaun White was?
oh
Like,
man, that's dude.
are you
That
kidding? Like,
yeah, that was a sick part. Like for a kid,
for
we
a
were about the
kid.
same age, right? Like we were
Right.
close. I think I was a year one way. I forget. I think he was a year younger than me or something, and it was so inspiring to see him like ripping
Did you
with
see
the
Sprock and Cat before Subject Hawkinson?
no after.
It, okay.
I
Was that
Subject
after? Yeah.
Hackinson was one of the first movies I got, and then
Okay.
Sprock and Cats with like the British flag and the kitty cat on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
saw
think
that one
so.
after.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
that is a
remember my back in the day with Simple Pleasures and
mm,
Decade was like some of my go-tos, but I remember if you're gonna do like Lagwagon
yeah,
for a soundtrack, I mean, it was like so punk rock today. I'm like, that would get me
yeah.
going every time.
That Volcom
So,
movie too, The Garden. That was a
oh
sick one.
yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like that one a lot.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite part, like a writer
So hard.
that just always like stood out?
I mean, I always really liked Terrier. I think
Okay.
Terrier and Brushy were kind of. I mean, I liked the Big Mountain stuff too, like UC or
Yeah.
some of the like the AK lines were always so unfathomable just because it was so different than the terrain we ride here.
Right.
But I always really gravitated to like Terrier's style and Brushy's style.
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah,
Craig Kelly will always have my heart, but
same.
as like a 20 something, I was obsessed with Heikki Sorsa. I just
Yeah, he's sick.
loved his street riding, and yeah, he had some
Yeah.
really fun parts.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of my favorite Craig Kelly stuff is just listening to him talk too. He had such a
Oh,
cool
dude.
like outlook on life and like his riding
Absolutely.
speaks for himself, but like kind of putting yourself into his shoes, like he took a big step away from the spotlight because he knew what the hell was
Mhm.
up. Like that's ultimate respect, you know?
100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Victoria Julius was like my idol, hands
yeah,
down. I like
yeah,
that big backcountry first woman
yeah,
to like point it. And so her Freedom 53, I was like obsessed with and I had to
yeah.
have, and then the face and actually getting to meet her in real life in Oregon was
The face was
amazing.
that Lenhart Scott? Did Lenhart do that graphic?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I can tell you.
I think
Maybe.
it was Scott Lenhart. I'm not sure though.
But he did Ross Powers stuff.
I was just gonna say that Powers board with the deer and all the trippy trees.
Dude, you want to talk about a story.
That's one of my favorite all
Oh
times too. Dude, I
my gosh, he had just bought his house down in Ludlow, and all my UVM friends were buddies with him. So
yeah,
they're like, "We're going to this big Halloween party. Come on down." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to go party with Ross Powers at his new place," you know.
sick.
And so we drove down from UVM, and I'm dressed as an angel, and my best friend's dressed as a devil. Here we go.
Checks out.
Yeah. Hobie Chittenden had won Redneck of the Year from Snowboarder magazine, right?
Yeah.
And Ross Powers had 18 kegs lined
Oh
up
my
in his
goodness.
garage. Okay.
Oh boy.
Hobie's like cutting down trees. They're just laying across this like bonfire that was just massive. Every truck was lifted,
Oh sure.
smokestacks out of everything. Every truck had moonshine in it.
Oh boy. Some real Southern VT shit.
It's somewhere in the middle of that. I decided that I could walk across fire. It was
Oh
like the
no.
coolest thing. And my friend Chris grabbed me from my back. I was like, "Not tonight, sweetheart." And I'm like, and then I was like, "I gotta go meet Ross." And so I go running into the house, and there he is, being carried by 5 of his friends
Just out
back up to
cold.
his room.
That sounds about right. Yeah,
And
I
then
think actually one of my prized possessions, I think came from you, but I got it from Pat. It's the uncut top sheet of one of those Ross Powers
oh
boards.
yeah, yeah,
And
totally.
then my buddy Nick, who
Yep.
Emerald Visions, he had that board like when it came out, and he rode it for a couple years. The thing was in mint shape, and like just a couple years ago, we ended up trading something, and I got the board and the uncut top sheet.
Tracks.
Yeah. That
Totally.
that graphic is sick. I really like pretty much anything Lenhart does is I'm into
Oh,
it.
it's money. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's so talented. It's
totally.
amazing.
Yeah.
So cool.
Hell yeah.
Man, we may have to have a part 2 on the hill.
Dude, let's do it. We didn't even get into details. Are you gonna chop this up or is it just gonna be as is?
Oh, this will be all one go, but then we'll have
Cool.
some clips so you can share it all out too.
Sick.
But I just want to say thank you so much for
Absolutely.
reminiscing and
Oh man.
talking about this, because I think for my community listening in, it's just really important to see that this kind of connection and community is needed, right?
Totally.
And to always stay connected. And if we could spread the word for these giveaways, because these boards mean a lot, and
Yeah.
kind of reflecting back to the build and what it meant to keep my headphones on and do this, what I was missing through my time at the prototype facility was that community. I
Mm.
loved being in a shop just like what you're doing now and connecting with people all the time, which is
Oh my
why I
goodness.
love doing these interviews again,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
can have these fun conversations, right? And there's some reminiscence and we can talk of these stories, but then we can move it forward, right? We're sharing this for the next generation. And I think it's so powerful. So I really
Yeah.
thank you. This has been
Yeah.
so much fun.
Vice versa. The feeling's mutual, man. Like I remember you inspired me so much at no school. Just you were so in your element in the shop. Like not only was it a safe space and a comfortable environment, but you were like a assassin when it came to like dialing people in, and getting you could bring so much like you passed your little ember of excitement to anyone you dealt with, and that was like that really resonated with me and stuck with me still to this day.
That's amazing. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. That warms
Yeah,
my
yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
Yeah. But yeah, if you ever want to link up again, whatever's clever, I'm here. We're here.
Awesome. We'll stop in the shop.
Sounds good. Yeah, you got to
Check
take a
out your new
tour.
space. Absolutely.
Sick.
Amazing. All right, Lucas. And to my audience, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching this conversation and listening in. And until next time, turn your mess into your message. All right. We love you. Bye.